Hi everyone, welcome to the 11th edition of VENU's Cricket Catch Up. Joined with Hassan as always. How are you, Hassan?
Yeah, I'm good. There's lots of cricket going on. Pakistan are playing South Africa at the moment, so they're chasing a 165, and we obviously talked about the England, India second Test match, and West Indies, Bangladesh as well. So there's a lot of cricket going on. So I'm good, and well, thank you.
Yes, a lot of cricket going on, and keeping me sane during lockdown, and the tennis as well. Also, do have a look out on the tennis. Fizan's been putting up some good content, reviewing each day's play, and we'll be doing some live streams as well on the tennis as well as the cricket. So, yeah. So let's start off with the cricket then. So let's talk about a really, really impressive West Indies win. So the spinners fire West Indies to a thrilling series win. They won 2-0 and extremely fantastic. It was a really good match. It's a shame that we couldn't watch it because I just couldn't find any streams for it. It's just unfortunate it's not on TV. It was a fantastic series. And West Indies edged up Bangladesh by a mere 17 runs to clinch the series 2-0. And they had to chase 231, but they only could get 213. But it was a fantastic test match, and it's really put West Indies back on the map.
Yeah, 100%. I think it was a really tight thing. At one point they needed, I think it was 23 runs, and they had one wicket in hand. So, yeah, incredible, right? So exciting. And as you said, a shame that we haven't been able to see much of it. Hasn't been televised here in the UK, which is a shame. But fantastic series, and I'm sure we'll discuss it later and maybe have a debate on it. But for me, I think it's definitely one of the best away victories in Test cricket. I think it's ever. And I just think it's because if you look at the circumstances, West Indies came into this with clearly a weakened side. I'd say about a C team maybe, if that. And Bangladesh have a full strength side. And if you look at where both countries are at the moment, I would say they're probably about equal. I would say in terms of their standings in world cricket. So if you think that Bangladesh had a full strength squad to pick from, West Indies didn't, because of injuries and people being unavailable, I think it's been a fantastic victory, and it's in Bangladesh, and they lost the ODI series 3-0. So they were getting pummeled really before this Test series, and it just looked like it was going to be a routine victory. The first 4 days of that first Test match, they were pretty much comprehensively outplayed, and then on came Carl Myers with a fantastic Test debut 200. And next thing you know, it seems to have inspired them, and they played fantastically well in the second Test. And your boy Rakeem Cornwall got man of the match, bowled really well, and picked up 5 in the first innings. I think it's 4 in the second. He put in a shift as well. Bowled 30 overs in the second, and he bowled 32, so 62 overs. So well played, Rakeem Cornwall, and he's a fantastic player. Afternoon, Ali. I think you maybe, if you've just woken up, it might be morning, but afternoon. Yeah, I think though, on the whole, West Indies were just incredible. And as you said, Venu, I think it's great. Hopefully this is the start of something fantastic for West Indies in Test cricket, because they're the T20 world champions. We know they've got the ability on white ball cricket, but they've been lacking in Test cricket, I think. And hopefully this will inspire them, because I feel like they've got a bit of the white ball fever or T20 fever in the Windies, and which is fair enough because of what's been going on and the current climate. But I think this is a massive advocate for Test cricket, and along with obviously India's fantastic win in the Gabba and that away series win in Australia. I'm sure we'll debate that maybe later on, but I think that's a debate to be had, because I think arguably you could say this was a better victory, but both historically fantastic victories. India's series win in Australia, and also West Indies win in Bangladesh, fantastic.
I'm really glad you mentioned the India Australia series. Which series do you think was the greatest achievement? India winning Australia last month, or West Indies winning in Bangladesh? And this question goes out to all the viewers out there as well. What do you think, Fizan, is the greatest achievement out of the lot?
It's really difficult because there's a lot to talk about. I tell you what, should we do this? It's up to you. Should we do this a bit later or before the awards when we have more people on? Do you think? And then we can we'll have more people on to discuss it. What do you think?
Yeah,
I think
why not?
I think it's a good debate to be had. I think it's a very good question, really.
Yeah. Do you mind?
Yeah.
Do you mind holding on for a second? I just want to send a link to.
Yeah.
Can I send a link to people I know
Yes.
watch this?
Yes. Go for it. While you're doing that, I'll update people on the Pakistan South Africa score.
Okay, yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, you go all Pakistan South Africa. Okay. You do that.
Cool. Yeah. So while Venu's doing that, yeah, I mean, Ali, you just said about South Africa. I mean, what a recovery, because they were 46 for 6. I was watching it, and Pakistan were in fantastic form with the ball. Also, some poor batting from South Africa as well, to be honest with you, because it was pretty poor, I have to say. But yeah, they did a really, really good job. I think South Africa bringing it back. David Miller he just had one of those fantastic knocks where you don't have it very often. I think he's only got 3 50s and 100 in 80 plus innings. So his form actually isn't particularly good in T20s. He's very hit and miss, I would say. But 85 or 45, and he hit this huge. And Ali, actually, as a lefty, you should definitely watch the highlights, because he showed how to power hit as a lefty, and this huge 6 over extra cover. I think it's just, I mean, the guy has got immense power, and he really took the game away from Pakistan. A strike rate of 189, 7 sixes, 5 fours, and he really helped propel them to that 164 for 8, when at one point they were 48 for 6. So I think that kind of says it all. He did it pretty much single-handedly as well, because apart from that, Milan got 27, Yanam and Milan at the top. Really, apart from that, though, no one gave much. And Ali says, yeah, I love watching Miller. Yeah, I think in franchise cricket, he seems to be fantastic. But for South Africa, he just, for me, hasn't quite done it. And his stats definitely reflect that. But maybe he's got a big, when there's 2 back-to-back T20 World Cups. I mean, he could go big, right? In the India World Cup this year, and then next year it's in Australia. So if he does that, then you've got no choice but to say he's a fantastic player. So let's see how he goes. But yeah, incredible knock. I mean, it's one of those ones where, everything he hit just seemed to. It wasn't. It's funny. The commentator said it didn't just go for 6. Everything just absolutely sailed into the stands or past the boundary, and he's a very good time on the ball when he's in. But yeah. And Ashton, yeah. So at the moment, Hyder Ali is the definition, 100%. I mean, I said this to Ashton. I said this to you yesterday, and Ali, I don't know if you agree, but Hyder Ali is someone who has fantastic. He's got fantastic ability. I actually think he can play all around the ground. He just chooses not to. And he's adopted this mentality of I need to slog. And I think he needs to get into the mentality of if I hit a 6 or boundary, I need to be able to have the ability to rotate the strike. And he needs to have looser wrists and actually manipulate the ball into gaps and run singles and twos. Because even in T20s, that's still useful to get you off strike. Someone like Crystal Shah doesn't do it, which is why he struggled for Pakistan. But he does well in the T20s or franchise cricket because, I mean, let's be honest, the standard of bowling is slightly worse. It always will be if it's not international cricket. And he just whacks it, and he's got good hitting ability, but he doesn't know how to manipulate it. So yeah. And Usher says 2 away from passing my cricket round. That's great job, consistency, amazing content, guys. Thank you. Yeah, that's all down to VENU. So well done to VENU. Whilst VENU's sending out. So guys, the reason why VENU is not talking at the moment is because he's sending a link to everyone that he knows, because we are going to be doing, and stay tuned, we're going to be going through all the news for the week. But before VENU's famous weekly awards, we're going to be doing a debate. And the debate's going to be, what was the better away victory? West Indies versus Bangladesh, that the 2-0 series victory that's just happened today, or India's victory against Australia. Do not put your comments here yet if you want, or you can, but we'll come back to them obviously when the debate happens. But keep in mind that we're going to be doing that. Tell your friends, tell your brothers, tell your uncles, tell your aunties, tell your grandma, tell your brother, everyone. Tell your children if you've got children, and get them all on. And I want to get your guys' thoughts on it because VENU brought it up. That was his talking point. I thought that's a very good point. So we're going to be doing that later on in the segment. VENU, are you ready to go?
Yeah, I've sent the link. I've spammed people, so I'm very sorry for spamming you. But, why not?
Why not?
I thought it'd entertain you to see me and see Hassan on YouTube. See our friendly faces. So
yeah.
Hi.
What's next on the agenda?
What's next on the agenda? Well, what were you talking about?
So we were just talking about Pakistan, South Africa. So we can touch upon that series if you want.
Yeah, why not? So let's do that. Let's do that. I think that would be a nice. That would lead on nicely, wouldn't it? So yeah. So what's the current score for Zan?
So the current score, Pakistan are 35 or 36 actually now, for no wicket off 4.4 overs, and yeah, I mean we're doing a pretty good, they're doing a pretty good job at the moment, I would say. So South Africa, I was saying to the guys, we actually had them 48 for 6 after 7.2 overs.
Really?
Yeah, but then David Miller came in and
smacked it.
So his stats, I was saying, he's only scored 350s and 100 in 80 plus innings in T20s, but he made it click today and he went absolutely huge. 85 or 45, 7 sixes, 5 fours, and propelled them to 164 for 8. So we're chasing 165, as you can see below on the ticker. I've put it there as well. I've got all the results and live games, and yeah, so so far so good for Pakistan anyway.
Yeah, so far so good. So let me get the scorecard. Yeah, they should get 165, and Rizwan's in fantastic form, isn't he, Hassan?
Yeah, I mean, so the first T20 he scored his maiden ODI ton, incredible. Like, I mean, we could talk, that is within the last week. The
was that the first ODI?
That was the first T20. Yeah.
First T20, sorry.
Yeah. So he hit his maiden Test century. We only won that by 3 runs, actually. So South Africa ran us close. Some good batting by Klaasen and Milan, and also towards the end. Sorry, not Klaasen, Hendricks and Milan, and towards the end as well. So they really went for it. But in the end, we had just about enough. But I think Mohammad Rizwan is the first. He's the second Pakistani ever to score 100 in all 3 formats for Pakistan.
Really?
Do you know who the first person was, Vinny?
Not Shaheen Afridi. Afridi.
No.
Let me guess. Mohammed Yusuf.
No, it's someone pretty left field. It's quite recent. No, but you're along the right lines. He doesn't play for us now. He used to open the batting for us, and his first name begins with A.
Asad Ali, or something Ali.
No,
I don't know. What is it?
It's Ahmed Shahzad.
I don't know who he is. But
oh, really? Okay.
No.
Ahmed Shahzad. Yes, Ali, you're right. Ahmed Shahzad. You might. I mean, he's played quite a few matches for us, but not in the last, I would say, maybe 5 years. He's still around, but he's just very inconsistent. But yeah, he's a talent, but hasn't quite fulfilled his potential. Let's put it that way. But yeah, anyway, so that happened, and he's in fantastic form. I think he hit stumps as well. Yeah, and then he hit 50 in the second T20.
Yeah, and it's 50 in the second innings where obviously Pakistan lost. So you guys got 144 in 20 overs, and South Africa got that quite easily in 16.2 overs. And Reza Hendricks 42 and Pete van Biljon 42 as well. So that partnership kind of took them over the line.
Yeah,
so
it was Pretorius though.
Was it?
Pretorius got a 5 there, and he bowled so well. Yeah, he bowled incredibly well. Like really good. He's not express pace, but he bowled good changes of pace. Really like utilized conditions and really good control. And he showed how to bowl. I think as a T20 masterclass. Really, he got the set batsman of Mohammad Rizwan. He bowled a fantastic Yorker at the end to clean up the tail. And yeah, it was really good, really impressive actually. He's the first South African to get a fifer in a T20 in the subcontinent. So or in
Wait,
Pakistan, I
your
think.
stats numbers on.
Well, from
You're
watching the
smashing them out
match,
today.
from watching the match, even matching the watch from watching
Normally
the
I'm the
match.
one with stats, but you're doing well.
You know what?
But
It's just funny when you watch cricket. The more cricket you watch, the more it just comes into your head, like, because people are throwing all these stats at you from the commentators. But
yeah, it's good. But yeah, it's currently, what's the score now? Currently,
45 for
yeah,
0 or 5.
in the series decider.
Yeah.
So Pakistan looks set to, who knows? T20, you just don't know.
Yeah.
But they look
Especially
set
with Pakistan.
yeah, especially Pakistan. But Rizwan, he's already 30. He's hit, his strike rate is 140. He's hit 2 6s and 3 4s. So I think Mohammed Rizwan would be. He's a player to look out for this year in T20. I reckon he's a player to watch out for the T20 World Cup. I've said it already.
I think in all formats in Test cricket, he looked really good.
Yeah, I think he's the player.
But we'll see. I mean, he's a wicketkeeper batsman, so. But yeah, he's in very good form for sure.
That's for sure. And some good news also that Pakistan are going to visit South Africa. It's a kind of reverse tour in April for ODIs and T20s, kind of getting them ready for the T20 World Cup. When is the T20 World Cup? Is it in November? In India?
I think it starts in November, yeah, in India. So fingers crossed. Let's see how it goes. I think it's going to go ahead. I'd assume it will. By that time, hopefully the current climate is okay for everyone to travel. But yeah, hopefully it goes ahead because especially for associate nations. Because I was talking to Mark Watt from Scotland, who's a left arm spinner. Check out the interview, plug in my own interview. But yeah, I did an interview with him, and he was talking about. So I think in a T20 World Cup, there's like qualifying stage, but it's still part of the T20 World Cup, if that makes sense. So like, Champions League in football, you've got the qualifying rounds. It's kind of like that. So they're drawn with Bangladesh, Holland, and Oman, I think it is. So he's like, I think 2 people progress. So he was saying like we're pretty confident that we're going to be able to progress through. West Indies in that qualification as well, in a different group. Which is amazing considering that they're the holders, right, of the T20 World Cup. So you'd expect them to automatically qualify, but that's just how the rankings are at the moment. But yeah, anyway, he was just saying I'm really hoping that we get through that because I want us to get in there and basically start beating some of the big boys. So fingers crossed it happens because at least some of the associate nations will be able to play in it, which is only a good thing, I think.
Yeah, so it's going to be that series with 3 ODIs and 4 T20s between the 2nd and 16th, and I think that's after due to Australia postponing the 3 Test series that's scheduled for March. So Pakistan kind of went in and got that gap in South Africa's calendar. So I'm looking forward to that. So that's the Pakistan South Africa series kind of wrapped up. We'll keep you updated with the third T20 as we go along with today. So let's talk about. So we talked about the West Indies, Bangladesh series win. That was a really, really excellent win for them. And let's talk about the India-England series. So the second Test match started the other day, and already into the 3rd innings in the second day of the second Test match. But before we go on to the second Test match, let's quickly talk about Faheem, the first Test match where England dominated that Test match from day one, and James Anderson and Jack Leach bowled England to a famous 227-run victory against India on the final day of the first Test in Chennai. 227 runs. That is a big victory in the first Test match, and that's all thanks to Joe Root, another Joe Root masterclass in the first innings. Him getting a 200+ score, and that really set them up. It just shows if you get for 500+ runs in the first innings, you're in control of the Test match. And I think the highlight of that Test match was James Anderson getting, I thought that over where I forgot who he got out, but it was a fantastic over. Who did he get out again, Hassan? Do you remember? In that
he got Rahane out. He cleaned him up. He also got Shubman Gill, and he got one other. But yeah, I mean, he was ridiculous. So that 220 run victory is just, I mean, it's a thrashing really. And I think India, it definitely considering how this second Test match is going, it definitely shook them and woke them up into into a fritz to think, you know what, we need to play better here because we've maybe taken advantage of doing well in Australia, and then thinking it's going to be easy with a full strength side. But yeah, Root was fantastic. Unfortunately, he can't get our Player of the Week because his knock was last week. But otherwise, he'd be in contention for sure because that was in the first innings. But Anderson, I'm sure we might talk about him because that even though Leach got 4, Anderson, that spell, as you said, VENU, was just electric.
He's 38.
Yeah, he's 38, and he just seems to be getting better and showing that he can bowl outside of the UK as well, and just incredible bowling. I mean, just the way he was swinging the ball and at pace as well. His pace was up, and it was just unplayable at times. And I think you have to say that's one of the best spells I've seen him bowl outside of the UK for sure. Really impressive stuff from him. And yeah, as you said, like, I mean, England really dominated, and it set up the second one nicely. Where Ali's saying here it's a 4-toss series in India rather than a 4-test. Yeah, we're going to answer that in a bit. Yeah, we can. And I think that for sure, like India, look, the pitch is a bit different here, and they've done very well, and they've dominated this second one. So I think it's setting up the third day nighter to be an interesting test match.
Yeah, I think. Let's talk about the second test match now. That's thank you, Hassan, for bringing that up. So in the second test match, so really, today, second day was 15-wicket day, and Ashwin, I think, took 5-wicket haul. How many do you think he's taken, Hassan? How many 5-wicket hauls has Ravichandran Ashwin taken in his test match career? In his test career, how many? Have a guess.
40.
No, it's a bit less than that. It's 29. 29 5-wicket haul, which is pretty impressive. But they're in a dominant position. So basically, England kind of got India out in the start of the day for 329, and Rishabh Pant finished on 58 not out. Moeen Ali got 4 for 128. I thought he bowled quite well. And Ollie Stone playing his test match, first test match in a while, he looked pretty good. 3 for 47. And they were all up for 329, and England's reply, they were bowled out for 134, which is a shocking batting display. Everyone's complaining it was a spinning wicket, it was really hard to bat on, but England had to bat on it, and they just didn't turn up, and they didn't bat. And my player, he stood up to the occasion. Who's my player, Fazan? Who's my man?
Ben Folkes.
And that's why I'm wearing my Surrey shirt in tribute to Ben Folkes. He's my favourite player, just to let you know. But yeah, it was a really bad batting display from England. They couldn't play on the spinning wicket. So 71 runs for England's top 6. Only managed 71 runs. And that's the fewest runs they've contributed to the innings where they were all dismissed since Headingley 2019. And finally, that test match, they won thanks to Ben Stokes' heroic innings. But I don't think this is going to happen again. England are not going to win this. And Ben Stokes are not going to save them. And India looks set to win this test match.
Yeah, I think this is it's going to be domination, really. There's no way it's going to go to 5. I might not even go to 4 days.
I'm disappointed.
It's disappointing. It's bad application from the England batsmen. Yeah. I think they probably were thinking it was going to play similar to the last one because it's the same ground, but they've obviously prepped a very different pitch, and that's India's prerogative because they're at home. They batted quite well in the first innings. Obviously, Rohit Sharma hit that fantastic 160, which is almost like an ODI innings, and he seems to be able to bat one way, but when it comes off in Test cricket, obviously he's going to go big, and that's what happened. I would like to see him be more consistent. Let's see whether he can now push on after that 160, because in ODIs and T20s he's fantastic, but his Test cricket form is not the same as his white ball form. But yeah, and then as you said, the England batsmen didn't apply themselves, and some really poor batting, poor shot choices. Root got out sweeping, but you can let him off considering how many runs he's scored. So I think that's the way. And Ali's saying here, yeah, VENU got a crush on folks. Yeah, I think VENU might have a bit of a man crush on folks, but
I
rightly
agree. I'm not denying it. I agree with that, Ali. I do agree with it.
yeah,
Yeah.
rightly so. Though I think, I mean, he was the only one that looked like he could potentially. Well, he was batting well on it, and he just ran out of partners. And I think he looked pretty comfortable. It's a shame, isn't it? It's a shame that England didn't get more. But realistically, let's be honest, it's going to be a case of India. It's just going to be a question of how long it takes them to win and wrap up this test match. And I think really there's not too much to touch upon, to be honest.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think a lot of commentators, a lot of pundits are saying that wicket, that you shouldn't have a spinning wicket. The ball shouldn't be turning square on day one. Now, I'm of the opinion, yes, it should be a balance between bat and ball, but it's up to the what's it called, the home side to decide what pitch they play on. I think that's fair enough, and I also think if England batted a bit better, they got another 50, 100 runs, game on, right? So we wouldn't be having this discussion if England scored another 100 more runs, will we, Fazan?
No, and I think it is twofold because India, as you said, they're at home, so they can do what they want, really. And then in terms of, as long as they're not cheating, which they haven't been, not the Indian team, so it doesn't matter. And then also, I guess from a neutral point of view, yeah, it's not great, but again, like, we just have to deal with it. I don't know. Like, England have to get on with it, and they didn't, unfortunately, and they didn't apply themselves well. Let's see. I mean, the next two will be in a different stadium.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Ahmedabad, is that correct?
Yeah, in Ahmedabad. So that'll be interesting to see what happens there.
The next test match is day nighter, which I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be surprised if they even there they prep a dust bowl. But
you think
it's just what they just it just worked for them now, so why not? So what will happen is they'll probably prepare that, and then obviously Anderson and Broad, they'll probably play both of them. With the pink ball under lights, they'll do quite well, but when it's not under lights, they'll struggle, and that's what they'll want, because why are they going to give conditions that suit England? They're at home, so clearly England is struggling on this track.
Let's go on to the point Ali raised, the really good point Ali raised about the toss earlier. Do you think, Fazan, the toss plays a big factor in these types of pitches? Like, whoever won the toss will win the match. So India won the toss today, and I think England won the toss last test match. I may be wrong, but whoever wins the toss are more likely to win the test match. That's always been the case, and especially at home. I think India, I think they can decide what the pitch is. They won the toss. They've got home support thanks to the crowd this test match. Do you think we should go to a system? I completely disagree with this. That the away team has the toss and the home team decides what pitch to play on, or split it. I'm not sure. What do you think?
So it's a difficult one, I think the issue that I have, and the reason why people are making a big fuss about this, is because, like Ali's saying, if you prep a pitch that is so in favor of the batsman or bowler, that then it's whoever wins the toss has the advantage, like has a huge advantage. Like, it's not super balanced. But then people will say, well, in the past that's just how it's always been, and the toss, sometimes it is a big deal, but that's the way it should be, because then you tactically need to decide whether to bat or bowl, rather than like if it was so even, sometimes you might say, oh, well, it doesn't matter if I win the toss or lose the toss, because we don't mind doing either, kind of thing. So I guess there needs to be a balance struck. I think you probably want, as a neutral, you probably want a pitch that slightly favors one or the other, but doesn't favor batsman or bowler so much that the toss is almost like, as Ali's suggesting, that if you win the toss, then pretty much you've won. Like, it's basically your match to lose from day one. I guess you can say that this test match a little bit has been like that, but as you've alluded to, VENU, it's India's prerogative. It's they're at home. In terms of whether the away team should automatically decide whether to battle bowl, which I think that's what you're suggesting, right? And then the home team can prep the pitch.
I'm against that personally. You know why, Hassan?
Why?
Because then they can just, what's it called? In terms of team selection, they have the advantage. As in, I know I'm going to bowl this match, so let's change our team to that. If that makes sense, does that make sense?
That doesn't really help though, because I mean, you still have to bowl a team out to win.
Yeah, sure.
And you still need to get bat 2 innings. You should need to bat 2 innings. So I don't think that makes a massive difference. I think what it might mean though is, and also then if you think about it, they won't know what the pitch looks like until they go and see it.
Okay, that makes sense.
On the day, right?
Yeah.
So of course you could look at it historically, but what it might be, maybe it'll be slightly different tactically. That the home team will think maybe we'll prep this pitch to be completely different to what it historically has been, so that the team can't have that advantage beforehand. So then when they come and see the pitch, they're like, oh crap, okay, this actually looks like a green top, whereas normally it was a dust bowl, so maybe we should actually play our seamer. So there might be more thinking involved. I don't know. I just think either way, I mean, it probably even out a bit more, that like some teams who are so dominant at home might be less dominant at home. But then also it would mean that these types of away victories that, for example, West Indies have just pulled off or India have pulled off wouldn't be as impressive, because
that's true.
It would mean that they're not at such a disadvantage, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree. I just think all the talk about everyone complaining this is a spinning wicket, even I'm upset partly because this test match might be over tomorrow and I'm on half-term holiday next week, and I was hoping to watch some good cricket on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So, but anyway, I think India have every right to be. I mean, India have every right to play on a spinning wicket, and in England just didn't apply themselves, and they need to play spin a lot better. And the only player that played it well was Folkes, my man Folkes. Sorry, I had to mention him there because I've got some interesting stats on Folkes. So since his Test career so far, Folkes has been more comfortable against spin than pace. His average, what's his average against spinners, you think?
60.
Yeah, 64.75 against spinners. And compared to how many against quicks?
25.
Yeah, 22.25 against quicks. So, I just think this is going to be interesting. Whoever's viewing this, I just think let's say Ben, I know it's 1 innings. I know he's been the best batsman this innings. I know his wicket keeping is outstanding. Like our friend Cash was saying that he didn't let any byes in the first innings, although the second innings he made some few mistakes. But I'll let him off. He's tired. He had a good day with the bat. But do you think if he has a good series, do you think Ben Folkes should be in the England setup in Test matches going forward, whether that's at home, whether that's away? Do you think Ben Folkes should be playing? And potentially, when Butler does come back, if Bairstow, I know England have some sort of love affair for Bairstow, but if Butler comes back, maybe play Butler in the middle order and have Folkes as a wicketkeeper. What do you think, Fazan, and what do the viewers think watching? Because I'm a big fan of Folkes, and personally, he's done nothing wrong. What's he done wrong? Other than that, I don't think he's as liked as Butler by the England management. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I think it's difficult because Bairstow got runs, and if he hadn't got runs, it'd be a lot easier to push him. But Folkes needs to get runs, I think, in the rest of the series. If he gets runs and he keeps well, I mean, he made 1 mistake today, which was a mis-stumping from Moeen Ali. But apart from that, he hasn't made any mistakes. And as you said, he had no byes. So he's a fantastic wicketkeeper. He's a good batsman, and I think he just needs to rack up runs for the whole series. And if he does, then that's all he can do. And I would like to see him get more of a chance, but I think they love Butler, and they just love the fact that if they play him with the gloves, and they have an option to play another bowler or an all-rounder, etc. So I guess it might depend on conditions, because he seems to be, as you said, the stats reflect that he plays spin a lot better. than
Yeah.
seam. So then at home he may not be as effective, but saying Bangladesh, Pakistan, India, Sri Lanka, like he'll be effective. So I think he should have played in Sri Lanka, for example. I think he would have done really well. But yeah, and also actually, I just wanted to mention this because we're talking about spin, and Ali said it. I hate how they get annoyed at spin, like when it seems a lot rather than spinning extravagantly, it's okay.
Yeah.
That's a good point, isn't it? I think, Vinny.
Good point. Like in England, if it's swinging everywhere, we just think this is amazing. This is great. It's a great pitch. I think it's the spectacle of a batsman just kind of getting completely done by a swinging ball rather than a spinning ball. It's an interesting point, and I think, yeah, but I think swing is more to do with the air environment rather than the pitch. Am I wrong?
No, so he's saying about seaming. So
Oh,
seaming is off the pitch.
swing. Sorry,
Yeah,
my bad.
yeah.
Yeah, I think Ali's got a point. I do think spin bowlers have it a lot harder than seam bowlers in the sense that they've got to. I think they've got to impress the audience a lot more. But yeah, I think Ali's made a good point.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And I should just, whilst we wrap up, I guess, the England India segment, he says, if I was in a think tank of the Indian camp, I would want India to bat the entire day till they get all out, no decoration, wearing England out physically and mentally before the bar test. Oh, that's a good point. So he's thinking about it from a future point of view as well. Yeah, I think, Venu, you're of the same opinion. You said that earlier. You agree then, right?
They should bat the whole day, get some batting practice, get the England bowlers tired, because I know they're rotating bowlers for England, but get them tired. Also, get the England batsmen tired by fielding on the field all day in that heat, and also most importantly, the England bowlers get a chance of rest, which is important. So I think they need to bat all day, and I don't think Rishabh Pant. It'd be interesting if India are maybe in a 3 down by lunch and the 4th wicket fell. I think they will put Pant up anyway. I think he bats 6 anyway, so I don't think it's an issue. So I think they might put Pant up, might promote him. Depends how these two. Depends how who's at the moment. Pujara
and Rohit Sharma.
Yeah, like Sharma can, if he bats 2 sessions tomorrow, India are gonna.
He'll get 100 if he bats.
He'll get 100. Yeah. So yeah, India are in the driving seat of this Test match, and it's a matter of when they're going to win this Test match. So yeah, I just think that's a really good point, Achar.
Yeah, I agree. By the way, I think the more I think about it, the more I think maybe you're right, Venu, from earlier, and also Charles. I think also looking forward to the next Test match, it makes a lot of sense. And someone like Kohli, who hasn't been in fantastic form, this is a chance for him to really bat under no pressure, which might help him get into some really, really good form. So, and a few of the batsmen for India potentially could help as well. So yeah, good point.
Yes, thank you. It is a good point indeed. So let's keep updated on the Pakistan South Africa 30-20. Yeah. So
it's 80 for 2.
Halfway point. 10 after 10 overs, 80 for 2. Rizwan just got out like the over before. Apparently he played a really bad sweep shot, and he asked for a review, and so Pakistan lost the review. But at the moment, they need another 85 runs to win. So they need record around 8.5. So Tala and Azam are in. So hopefully Azam gets some runs. And I would say Pakistan are still in the ascendancy here. Wouldn't you say so, Azam?
Yeah, I think they're probably slightly in front. They need Bob Rosen to go pretty big, I would assume. Hayes Riley got bowled by Shamsi. Shamsi is such a good T20 bowler, by the way.
Is he?
Yeah, I think he's left-arm Chinaman, left-arm unorthodox. Really, really good, I think. Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah, so I thought we'll keep you updated throughout this video, throughout this live stream. Now, let's move on now to... What are we going to move on now? So we've covered the Pakistan-South Africa series. Let's talk about... currently, the England women are currently down in New Zealand. I wish I was in New Zealand right now. So England women won the first warm-up game of the tour of New Zealand, defeating a New Zealand 11 by 20 runs in Queenstown. And there was despite by a valiant 97 by Lauren Down of New Zealand. So England got 299 thanks to Nat Skiver, she got 75, and and New Zealand could only get 279 in the chase of 300 of 50 overs. So quite a convincing win for the England women. And it's quite interesting because due to the COVID postponements, England have not played an ODI since December 2019. And when they beat Pakistan 2-0 in Malaysia, and they're yet to play one with their new head coach Lisa Knightley in charge. So I think the ODI series starts next week, and I think there's also T20 matches as well, getting them ready for the Women's World Cup, T20 World Cup. I think early next year in 2022. I've got it here. That's going to be the 12th edition of the Women's Cricket World Cup, and it'll be played in April 2022. And I think it's the 50 over format, I believe. Yeah, it is. It's 50 over format. So it's getting them ready for that. So so I might be watching some of that series. So that's the England's women's series against New Zealand wrapped up. I think the first ODI, let me get it up, is going to be, when is it? Bear with me. It's next week sometime. So they've got one more tour match in Queenstown on the 15th of Feb tomorrow, and the first ODI, the day nighter, is on the 23rd of Feb. So next week. So hopefully that's on TV, and I will be watching that. So I'm looking forward to that series, and that's that wrapped up. And let's talk about another series that's going ahead in New Zealand. So the New Zealand men's are set to play Australia in T20s coming up soon. So Martin Guptill, New Zealand opener, is set to undergo a fitness test ahead of the Australia T20s, and Finn Allen is called up as cover just in case he doesn't pass it. So Guptill has to prove his fitness in order to be part of the T20 series against Australia, which begins on February 22nd, so next week in Christchurch. And Guptill will be assessed because he got a hamstring injury, and I think he's a key player for New Zealand, especially in T20 format. And on the Australia side, Mitchell Marsh is hoping to bowl if selected for the Australia T20s against New Zealand, and he's back bowling the nets after recovery from a side strain he suffered in BBL. So Mitchell Marsh back bowling again will be will basically do him good in terms of selection for Australia. But I'm really looking forward to that series. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah, that'll be a class. That'll be a class series, I think. And both teams, Australia want to bounce back, and New Zealand obviously are in fantastic form. Made the final in Lords as well. So in Test cricket, so they're the top nation at the moment. And as you said, Guptill's quality, and Mitchell Marsh had a really good series in the ODIs against England in England. So he'll be looking to carry on that form as well, because I think he was injured for the series against India. So yeah,
I'll be interested to see if Marsh does get into the Australian setup.
He should. For ODIs, he should. I think for ODIs, he definitely should. Whether he does in Test matches, I don't think so because of Cameron Green. And then in T20s as well, I don't know. But yeah, in ODIs, I think he will because his form's been very good, I think.
Oh, really good question from my child. Do you agree that all countries should take maximum home advantage of their home condition rather than finding the perfect balance? Will only make Test crickets more adaptive.
So we touched upon this, didn't we?
Yeah, I'm still of the opinion the home team should choose what pitch to play on. I don't want to find the perfect balance. Yes, we want to make Test cricket, more appealing and more for the neutral, more interesting to watch. However, I just think we wouldn't be having discussion if England applied themselves and could play spin a lot better. So, but to be honest, I think another thing is that I was going to say the fact that England and India are going to play the reverse fixture this summer. I think that will be quite interesting. Will be quite good. But I just think some series, there's probably 2-3 year gaps between the away and home fixtures, if that makes sense, Fizan. So you just kind of don't get an idea of how well the same team will play on different sides of pitches. But I still of the opinion that the home team should choose what pitch they play on. And the thing is, England know that India are going to do that. They just know. So they surely have been playing against spin. They had a good practice against Sri Lanka, against Lasiva Muldinia, a quality bowler. So they just didn't apply themselves today.
Yeah, I'll keep it short because I think we touched on it. Yeah, I think 100%. England just need to have done better, and they should have seen this coming because the last Test match it wasn't spinning from day one. Just because it's in the same stadium, it literally means nothing because they prepped 4 pitches, so each one would have played differently. I think just poor application from England in my point, and I agree. I think with you, VENU, that they should be able to take a home advantage if they want. That's the whole challenge of playing away in a different country.
Yeah, it just adds to the spectacle, and that's what makes Test cricket especially, so interesting. The fact that you've got different pitches, different conditions, that adds to the spectacle, in my opinion. So I'm all for it. That's that wrapped up. So let's talk about the upcoming T20 series, England-India. And Liam Livingstone earns a T20 international call-up after his excellent performance in the Big Bash League. And also Alex Hales, he hasn't been called up for this series, but Ed Smith, England's national selector, has said that Alex Hales may be invited to training camp in the summer. So clearly Alex Hales is being talked about within England management, in England setup. And I think that's fair enough considering his excellent form in the Big Bash League. And England will be better with him in the side in terms of cricket-wise. But in terms of, has he lost trust with the players England set up? Will he, I think that is an issue. But I think he deserves to be in that team. Especially the T20 international team. 100%, he deserves to be there.
Oh, you said Alex Hales, yeah?
Alex Hales, yeah.
Yeah, he definitely does. I think Liam Livingstone will be interesting because he played well in the Big Bash, and Alex Hales. I think if Jason Roy his form doesn't continue, then his form doesn't continue because it's been pretty poor. Then Alex Hales has got to be in there. But as you said, there's some political stuff going on, and I don't know whether the England Cricket Board are happy to bring him back into the fold. Owen Morgan will have a massive say in it. Let's see how it goes. But he won't be in the India series. Interesting to see whether he gets picked before the World Cup. If not, then obviously we know he's not going to go. But there's back-to-back T20 World Cup, so this could be where he makes a name for himself, like big time. Let's see. But that's ongoing saga, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, it is. And the thing is, England have got what's the saying, Fizan? They've got so many people to choose from. They're quite spoilt for choice.
They've got great squad depth.
They've got great squad depth, England. One of the best squad depths going in world cricket at the moment. So to have Alex Hales there, I don't know whether they need him, but he's a quality player. You've got to play your best team. And yeah, especially to win a World Cup, you've got to play your best team. So I think that's something they'll be thinking about. That's for sure, England management. So that's everything that's all the talking points from...
No, it's not. PSL starting on Saturday.
Oh yes, I forgot. I'm so sorry for that. I normally ask, haven't forgotten anything, and I clearly have. So PSL starts Saturday, so tune in. Who you be supporting, Fazan? Lahore?
Yeah, Lahore Qalandars. So I actually did I did an interview with Ahmed Asif, he won the PSL last year with Karachi Kings in the final, beating Lahore Qalandars. So I joked with him saying that he ruined my dreams. But in this year, he's playing for Peshawar Zalmi. But I talked to him, guys, if you haven't, check it out, just because even if you're not a big Pakistan or PSL fan, he talks about working under Wasim Akram, learning from him. So it talks about the great Wasim Akram, Professor Dean Jones, who obviously passed away tragically, who was the Karachi Kings coach, the Australian. Talked about him as a coach as well, his kind of journey into cricket, and also the Peshawar Zalmi team and how he thinks they're going to perform in this PSL on Saturday. I think that's pretty much that for me. Acha, I think, agrees with you, VENU, where he says ECB have historically failed to manage its players well. KP now hails. I think that's a video we could do probably another day. I think maybe we should talk about that. Just it's quite an interesting topic. I think we need to do a lot of
KP saga.
Just in general, I think players in the ECB. I would need to do a lot of research, I think, as well, and obviously we need to be balanced. I think in our views.
Issue is, with that, we don't know the dynamic.
Yeah, exactly. I think we can only do so much. Yeah.
I don't know. I just think it will be what's said is said with the KP saga, but it will be interesting to do a video on that and our opinions on that. Yeah, it'd be a good video. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to the PSL and start Saturday. Is that right, Fazan?
Yeah, start Saturday.
And go Lahore Kalandars. So how many teams are there? 8?
6.
And they play each other twice. I mean, they have a
Yep.
knockout format. Okay, looking forward to that. So more cricket on its way. So that's only a good thing, especially during lockdown. That's for sure. So glad there's cricket on in this lockdown. That's for sure, keeping me sane. So that's all the cricket. I think that's everything now, Fazan, isn't it?
It's our debate time.
Yes. So this is the highlight of the show, where it's VENU's Weekly Cricket Awards. So we give out awards.
I know we've got debate first, haven't we? Which
What's the
away
debate?
win was better? Which away win was better?
Which away win was better? Okay, so let's have a debate. Okay, so all those viewers, we're gonna have a nice debate now. We had a good one last week, but I think this one's going to be a good one as well. So our question is, which away series win was better? Was it India's victory against Australia last month and winning 2-1 with that fantastic Adelaide test match in the fourth test match where Rishabh Pant got them over the line, one of the highest chases in Australia, and beating the Australian Brisbane for the first time in 27 years? I may be wrong. But that was a fantastic series victory. 2-1 after going 1-0 down in the first test match after getting bowled up for 36. And that was a fantastic series. People were saying that one of the greatest away victories from India, maybe of all teams. Now, on the other hand, you've got a second string, third string West Indies side who just beat Bangladesh in the backyard 2-0. A clean sweep, 2-0 after the first test. Well, we thought they're not going to win this. And thanks to a fantastic knock from Kyle Myers, got them over the line in the first test match. And now the second test match, Rakeem Cornwall got them over the line. And yeah, it was a fantastic, fantastic series win for West Indies. And I hope it does West Indies cricket good. Now, before I give my opinion, Fazan, which series win was more spectacular, or what's the word? I don't know what the word is.
More impressive.
More impressive. That's the word. Thank you. Was it Australia-India, or India winning Australia, or was it West Indies winning in Bangladesh? Both away series victories.
Yeah. Before I start, I think I said this earlier. I think it is a tough one. It is really tough. I think if you look at it, both historically, I think, will go down as fantastic away victories and definitely up there because both sides had probably C or third string teams. They didn't have any of a lot of their first team players weren't available. They were either unfit or just not available for selection. And they played against a team that probably is on the same level as them. So say, like, for example, India's first team is probably around about the same level as Australia's first team. Similarly, West Indies' first team is around about the same level as Bangladesh's first team, I'd say, in Test cricket. And West Indies and India both had third string sides. And then on top of that, it's an interesting one because overall, I would say India, Australia is more glamorous because of the whole Gabba thing, and they bought up for 36, and to come back from that, and then it was more televised. Yeah, there's a lot more coverage on it. I think it was a lot more hyped up, which is probably just because both teams are at the moment they're at the peak of the sport at the moment. They're kind of two of the biggest nations in cricket at the moment, whereas West Indies were back in the day, but they're not at the moment. Similarly, Bangladesh are kind of on an upward trajectory, but they're not near that level yet. Yeah. But then if you look at West Indies, I mean, they got absolutely destroyed in the ODI series, 3-0. They're playing away from home. They've got very inexperienced players. Some players have never played a test match before in their lives. Kyle Myers hit that 200 in his test debut as well in that first test match. Then it's propelled them. Rakeem Cornwall, my boy Rakeem Cornwall and your boy, getting 9 wickets in the second Test match, and Bonner as well. They're really inexperienced. Nearly all their players are inexperienced, really, playing for West Indies. Josh De Silva as well. He's only played a few Test matches. So I think if you look at it subjectively, and I'm not saying because I'm biased either. I think maybe the West Indies one slightly edges it, but it's so difficult to it's difficult to pick because I think both of them are really, really good, and it's not one of those ones that I'm so strongly with one, if that makes sense. I can kind of see both arguments, and in my head, I'm like they're kind of equal. But if I had to pick one, I'd say just because I think the West Indies one was the most surprising. I didn't think they had any chance really, especially after the ODI series. Whereas with India, I thought they could. I think maybe because after that 36 all out, everyone wrote them off. But before then, everyone said they might, and they'd already beaten Australia in Australia the last time 2-1. So it's not like it hadn't happened before, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Whereas the West Indies Bangladesh thing, I think for me, as in that happened quite recently as well. Whereas the West Indies Bangladesh one was a bit more. Ashraf says here, India Australia wins, and Ben C. I don't know if this is maybe one of your friends.
Yeah, all right, Ben.
Yeah, he says India versus Australia. He agrees. He says, "Good afternoon, guys." What do you think, Venu? What's your opinion?
Interesting. Oh, that's well put, Achal. I really like your analogy there. India should be a blockbuster movie, and considering it's like the hero faced some adversity after
Do you know what it's like? Do you know what it's like? It's like West Indies Bangladesh is like Shawshank Redemption. Like it completely flopped on the blockbuster, or on the it flopped, didn't it, at the premiere, Shawshank Redemption, and then as the years have gone by, it's now seen as one of the best movies ever. Whereas like India Australia is like the Avengers. Yeah, exactly. Like exactly. You got
blockbuster, so much money involved, like shown all over the world, and it's just like, would I show my kids it? Actually, I probably will, but I will show them the Bangladesh West Indies match, that's for sure. But the Karl Mars knock, but it's annoying. I didn't watch Karl Mars knock. I wish it was just more televised. It really frustrated me. And I think you made a good point, Hassan. I think if it was televised, the West Indies Bangladesh will be hyping it and saying, "What a win from West Indies! What a win!" Because you get to know the series. The commentators give you some information, tell you that know about the players. I'm just looking at a scoreboard, really, so I can't really get a sense of what actually happened. And I think it's hard. It's hard, really hard. And I think
because you can't relate to it as much, right? That's the issue. You can't. You don't get as emotionally attached. But I think, when you look at it, and I watched the ODI, so I know how badly they got spanked in all three, like of those games, and then that's why maybe I've got a little bit more because I know going into that I was like, this is going to be the same thing. And then obviously the first 4 days of the first test they got like comprehensively outplayed, and then Karl Myers came up, and then from then on they've kind of pushed on. And then there's the whole Clive Lloyd letter as well. So there's a lot of bits and bobs around. But yeah, what's your thoughts then? What would you pick and why?
I think I spoke to you before about this. I would say West Indies Bangladesh, just because who saw that coming? No one saw that coming. You could say that about Australia, India. You could, but you made a good point. For some, India did win last time they toured Australia 2-1, and they've got quality players, and we've heard of them. Most of those players, even the backup players, even Siraj. To be honest, I didn't really hear of Siraj beforehand, but I knew, he was playing IPL. But who heard of Karl Myers? Who? If you asked me who Karl Myers was 10 days ago, I would say, who on earth is he? And now he's probably one of the West Indies greats. He's put himself in the book of West Indies greats, and it has to be. And let's look at the bigger picture here, right? Let's look at the context of the series. If India lost or won that series, I think India cricket will still be strong, right? Now, West Indies winning, I hope it does West Indies cricket a lot of good. So that's why I'm going to say West Indies, Bangladesh, the victory of the series win for West Indies, I think is a lot. It's a greater.
It's more significant, isn't it?
I think it's more significant.
Because as you said, if India had lost, they're still going to be a powerhouse. Like they would have gone into this England series still thinking we're going to win because they're at home as well and the record's great. But West Indies, the state of Test cricket in West Indies is not great. They're the T20 champions, but in white ball, they've done pretty well. But again, they're nowhere near the level that they once were. Like
Yeah.
that legendary teams, they're nowhere near that. So that's why as well. I think I kind of tend to agree with what you're saying. It makes complete sense, 100%.
Yeah, I think I have to go with that. So let us know, any other viewers out there. I'm sure. I hope we have got a lot more than a few. But yeah, do let us know what you think is the better series victory. Was it West Indies winning against Bangladesh or India beating Australia? And Fazan and I both agree that it was West Indies beating Bangladesh. So well done, West Indies. Well done to them. So I think that's the debate over. Wasn't really we didn't really have a debate like we did last week. But anyway, we might have one in a moment with the Venu's Cricket Awards. So basically, those are new to the show. We kind of discuss awards to give out to teams and players. So let's start. I think this has kind of come about because I'm a teacher, and it's kind of the given thing. You give out awards like Star of the Week and things like that. So let's start off with who's the Star of the Week in cricket terms. Who are the potential nominees? Rohit Sharma of India, his blistering 160 in the first innings that kind of set India up for the Test match. Trying to think anyone else. Mohammad Rizwan, quality.
Yeah, Mohammad Rizwan hit 100 and then a 50, and then he's just hit 42 today. Rohit Sharma 100%, 160 odd. James Anderson got, even though it was only 3 wickets, the significance and how well he bowled, I think he's definitely up there. Who else? Jack Leach got 4. Rakeem Cornwall, the 9 for he got for West Indies, that was huge.
Babar Azam's out. Sorry.
Yeah, he is. He got 44. He's cleaned up by Pretorius.
So they need in Pakistan 53 runs from 6 overs, and the required run is 8.83. So Asif Ali is currently, and I'm not sure who's in next, but they're currently ahead in the
Faheem Ashraf will be.
Yeah. So
yeah,
Pakistan still should get this, but it's a couple of wickets. It could definitely swing South Africa's way, that's for sure. So what are we talking about?
So we're talking really Anderson's, I guess, blistering spell that 3 wickets, unbelievable fast ball. We're talking about Rohit Sharma's 160. We're talking about Mohammad Rizwan getting maiden 2020 100, 50 and 42. Rakeem Cornwall getting a 9 for. I think those are kind of the 4 I would think of. I'm trying to think if I missed anyone. Bonner batted really well for West Indies. He got 90 odd in the first innings, but Josh Silva got 92 as well. But I probably wouldn't give it to them. I'd probably stick to the 4 that I said.
Yeah.
What do you think, Venu? Who do you go with?
The thing is, I think naturally you give it to batsman. I think. But however, I would like to give it to James.
Pretorius Pfeiffer as well. I forgot to say because that was really impressive as well. I forgot to say that. Sorry, because you made me think of bowlers. Sorry,
I just want to give it to bowler this week. I don't know why. So I would like to give it to James Anderson.
Oh, not your boy Rakeem Cornwall. 9 for.
Yeah, I could give it to Rakeem. I'm not sure. It's between those two.
I think either is fine, really. Just because you got player of the match, maybe.
Yeah,
as well.
Who got player of the match for the England one?
Joe Root.
Was it Joe Root?
Mm.
But he doesn't count because his 200 was last week, so he doesn't qualify in our award.
Yeah. Very strict awards.
Yeah, it's very strict. But I'm going to for James Anderson. He's 38.
Okay.
He inspires me. The thing is, he's 38 and he's 10 years older than me, and I watch him play and I think I can still do it. I can still play for England. The dream's not over, is it, Fizan?
No, it's not. And Achal actually disagrees with both of us. He says Rizwan played a captain's knock. I believe he deserves it. I think, Achal, are you Indian? Because if you are, that's a fair play. And he goes, I believe he deserves it. He says Rohit's batting was less responsibility, more of just playing the game your way, because anyways, the pitch will get you out. Okay, yeah, I know what you mean. But Ben C agrees with you. James Anderson, superb spell.
Ben. He came. Ben.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Ben. Okay. But I'll say James Anderson. Thank you, Ben. I think Ben sealed it there. You got to agree with Ben. He knows his stuff.
Yeah, it's fine. You're the overruling vote. So
I say his spell where he got 2 wickets, just fantastic deliveries, and he's a master of his craft. And at 38, and you're thinking, this guy's a Roger Federer of tennis. No, Roger Federer of cricket. My bad. Roger Federer tennis that already exists, but
Yeah, the Roger Federer of tennis is Roger Federer.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. But he's a Roger Federer of cricket, or the Tom Brady of cricket. You know, he's a fantastic player. He is my role model, that's for sure. And as I said, my England cricket career is not over. I've said it. It's not over. I see him play, and I think I can still do this.
fair enough.
I'm
Should we
serious.
go on to team of the
Sorry.
week?
Yeah, let's do it. I'm rambling on a bit. Sorry for someone.
Right.
So,
That's right.
James Anderson, well done, and Raheem Cornwall, a close second, I'll say.
Yeah,
And this one maybe close third, but James Anderson, well done, James Anderson. And I've got. Now, don't worry. Don't worry. Okay, yeah, James Anderson.
Don't worry about the Pakistan score update later.
Okay, he's the star of the week. So well done, James Anderson.
Well done, Jimmy boy. I'm sure you're watching.
Has to be West Indies, Fizon. I feel bad personally after last week to West Indies.
You should feel bad.
I got to give it to them. So I had a long think Fizon had it, and I felt really bad.
Did you have a? Were you sleeping? Were you lying in bed, looking up and thinking to myself, "I gave it to Sydney Sixers," and you're like, "Oh, but hold on, what's happening to me?" You're like, West Indies, and then you're just like, West Indies. Oh no, what have I done? Dawned upon you, like, why did I not give it to West Indies?
So I'm going to give it this week. It has to be West Indies. I don't see any other team. The fact that they won 2-0 in Bangladesh, a fantastic win today. I would say this win was more of a team performance than last one. Just saying. But yeah, great win. 2-0.
Oh, you know what? I completely forgot as well, because Pakistan actually won this week, and Hassan Ali got a fifer.
Yes.
Hassan Ali got a fifer. Hassan Ali got a fifer on the last day. No, it's right. I forgot. Hassan Ali got a fifer on the last day, and showing if he got 4.
He got 10 wickets, Fizan.
Should he be star of the? I feel like he should be star of the week. I don't know though. I don't know. It's difficult.
I feel bad. It's like you like that's.
His spell was ridiculous.
It's like at school if I tell a kid that, oh yeah, you've got the award. Oh, actually no, you haven't got it. It's someone else.
What do you think? Because I mean, that Hassan Ali spell was ridiculous. He got 5 wickets on that day.
I didn't watch it personally, but I'm just leaving it to you. Was it good?
It was good. I feel like I have to get. You know what? The James Anderson one I really liked as well. I just think in the.
We just always give James Anderson credit. He's like
in the situation of the game. I'll tell you what. In the situation of the game, James Anderson was quite important, but Joe Root, that 200, I feel like was probably slightly bigger than that 3 wicket spell, even though it was so good. Whereas I feel like for Pakistan, those 10 wickets and even those 5 wickets on that day were crucial for Pakistan. So I kind of feel like in terms of the match situation, I think probably Hassan Ali. But I feel bad because
we kind of give the award to James Anderson, and he was like, "Sorry, mate, you're not getting it." But I'm sure James Anderson isn't watching, so we can get away with it. I imagine if he was, sorry, mate.
Hassan Ali, it was like watching a masterclass on how to bowl reverse, like how to reverse the ball.
Good?
Like, it was incredible. It was so good. I'll show you the highlights. I'll send you the highlights later.
Let's see. Okay, let's give it to Hassan Ali. Sorry, James Anderson, you haven't got the award now. Hassan Ali's got it. Well done, Hassan Ali. For his 10-wicket haul in the South Africa Test match, and it was Pakistan's first series win of South Africa since 2003. And he triggered the collapse for the second new ball, and as you were saying, it was a masterclass in reverse swing bowling. And South Africa lost 7 wickets of 33 runs, and they fell 96 runs short of what would have been the highest successful chase in Pakistan. And I was kind of hoping for that to happen after being. Hopefully, they were South Africa were inspired by Karl Mars and West Indies. And you're thinking the third time, India chasing in Australia, and third time, and within like a month and a half of a team successfully chasing the 4th innings as a score. But Hassan Ali, fair play, mate. 10 wickets in the match.
Yeah, quality, well played.
He's been out the setup for a while, hasn't he, as well?
Yeah, because he's been injured for quite a long time, and then he's played for like 6 months or so. Had a really good domestic performances, really good domestic performances, and come back in. Ash says here, justice for Faheem. I think he means about the West Indies.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I had nightmares all week about it, and but West Indies team, definitely team of the
Yeah,
week. That's for sure.
100%.
No debate. No debate.
Yeah.
Well done.
Before we go on to the next award, because the Charles saying Pakistan are making a meal out of this, and we now need 47 of 29, and we've only got 5 wickets remaining. And Faheem Ashraf's on 1, Mohammad Nawaz on 1. Hussain Taluk was bowled by Shamsi for 5, Asif Ali for 7, and Achal's saying here Shamsi could get a T25 for today.
Come on,
He's
Shamsi.
really good to watch. He's got great energy, VENU. You'd love him because he's very he's like Imran Tahir. He's very like animated.
Lively. Oh, that's good. I like the ball animated.
And Achal says Pakistan is throwing it away, losing the wickets at the wrong time. South Africa on top. Yeah, 100%. Okay, what's our next award?
So we've done Star of the Week, Team of the Week. Who needs to do the homework for this week? I would say I've got a player in mind, Rory Burns.
Oh, okay. Why Rory Burns?
He hasn't scored this Test match, has he? I think he's got this series. He didn't get. He got bowled out.
He got 30 odd in the first innings of the first Test.
Oh, did he? Fair enough.
Yeah.
But I think this series, this Test match, he got out on the third ball of England's reply. So Rory Burns potentially got to do his homework.
Dan Lawrence.
Potentially. I know Don Bess has been dropped and he's doing his homework right now.
Well, maybe we should give it to him.
Don Bess.
We can because they bowl.
They did play this week.
Yeah, I think he bowled this week in the So we can give it to Don Bess. I think Don Bess is a good one because he got a few wickets in the first innings. I think we kind of alluded to this. He was a bit lucky, but wickets are wickets. And then in the second one, the luck kind of ran out, and he got hit for I think it was like 6, 7 and over off 9 overs, and they just said, "Okay, stop bowling," basically because he started bowling loads of full tosses. He bowled 3 in a row, I saw, and he didn't pick up a wicket, and that's why I think he's been dropped because they just think he needs to work on his consistency. I think, and I'm sure he will. I'm sure he'll come back a better bowler. But yeah, I think he probably needs to do his homework. That's who I'd pick anyway, probably.
Yeah, I think Don Best comes into mind. I'm just annoyed that I haven't really watched the Bangladesh West Indies.
Yeah, I would have said Bob Razam, but Razam he's just hit 44 now. So
yeah,
I think that's fun.
Yeah, it's just what we've watched really. Like if I watched more of the Bangladesh West Indies series, maybe could have picked a player there, but we haven't really watched that. So. Yes, let's give it to Don Best. Mate, you're gonna do your homework. But I'm glad Moeen Ali's playing, so it's all right. So it was Don Best. You could do your homework, mate. Sort it out. All right, sort out your bowling. But I'm sure the thing is, I hope it doesn't knock his confidence. I hope that it's constructive and it works, does him good because he has shown he's quality young. He's quality young.
I don't think it will help his confidence because. Look, I mean, it's not going to help his confidence carry on playing and then getting smashed like he did in that second innings because that would have happened for the rest of the series probably. And then it would have been really hard then to come back from. So I think they kind of saw it was about to happen and it was starting to happen and they just thought we should probably give him a rest because exactly, and that's what they've done. Who's it team that needs to do their homework, right?
Team Bangladesh has to be.
Bangladesh, they're at home, man. They should have done a lot better.
And they were in a winning position that first Test match, and even today, Fazan, that only had to chase 231, and at one point there were 9 for 188. So, I think it's Bangladesh. So Ben says I love Moeen, but dropping Best was harsh. I know Ben's a fellow spinner. I just think. I don't think it was harsh. It was a right.
Ben, you're entitled to your opinion. Like, I can see why you might think that because of the amount of wickets he's got. But I think if you really, really kind of drill into the wickets he's got, you kind of realise that he's been on a bit of a fortunate run, and then it's kind of I feel like it's come to a head where it's run out. But I can see why some people might think that he's very talented. I think he's got the talent. At some point, he will be ready and he'll come back. I think a fantastic spinner. I just think maybe it's slightly too early for him in these conditions. But I agree with you. VENU Bangladesh need to do their homework, man. I mean, how can you perform the way they did? I know West Indies a fantastic performance,
Yeah.
But yeah,
Just took it
I agree.
away, but
And Ben saying actually they may have rested. Yeah, they could have rested. I think it's not necessarily a drop. It's more like we're resting you. They'll say to him, we're resting you. Just work on the consistency. Come back. He won't be gone for very long, I don't think.
no, he'll be. I reckon he might play again this series. We'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah. So that's that. So that's for what else do? We do funniest moment of the week.
Funniest
I
moment.
think it has to be this. Virat Kohli, just when Moeen Ali bowled a complete beauty of a ball, like landed outside off stump, and he tried to like play it for and he just missed it, and he just went straight through him, and he just looked so confused, and I don't know what it is about Virat Kohli. I think it is quite an ego thing. He just stands there and just think what just happened, and he just says, it shows his character, but it just reminded me of, do you remember when Adil Rashid absolutely done him
Yeah,
in the ODI, and his face was like, he was so shocked, and
he got done so badly. Yeah.
Funniest moment for me was that.
So
What do you
yeah,
think?
I agree. Virat Kohli is a fantastic player, but not being in the best of form. And the ball he got was just a peach. It hit the rough, which is why it turns so much as well. I hit a patch of rough and just absolutely cleaned him up. And I think did he review it or something? Like he basically didn't want to walk. It's almost like he thought that it'd gone through him, but
No,
maybe it missed, like
he just
the wicket keeper had taken the stumps off or something.
yeah,
I
he
think
was
that's
so
what he was
confused.
thinking.
He just
But
looked so
yeah,
confused.
I think he was more bewildered than anything. But that,
He was
and I said this to you earlier, like there's some balls that you just think are just amazing. And I'm not saying it's ball of the century. I'm never going to say that, but I'm just saying that I think when you see balls like that hit the rough, like something like the Shane Warne one as well, was quality. But there's loads of balls out there that are much better than these balls, and maybe they're not. It's just to do with the player, the aura around the player, the hype around them, and stuff as well. Charles, this is really interesting. I actually really disagree with this. Venu, what's your thoughts? I call what happened to Bess as the Mendes effect. Back in the days, Jonathan Mendes used to be a very dominating figure till the day Virat Kohli decided to go after him. That was the end of his career. So I'll quickly say. So I actually think that Jonathan Mendes was quality back in the day. If you look at his stats, the Charles, I think he was one of the quickest to 50 Test wickets or something ridiculous. And like he's the type of player that they figured him out. But he's different to Don Best because Don Best is very one-dimensional. But Jonathan Mendes had like all these different variations, and he was so good. And he wasn't just good in Test cricket; he was good in the T20, one of the T20 World Cups, T20s, ODIs. Like for Sri Lanka, he was a beast for like I think it was like 3 years, maybe. And then they figured him out. Don Best is not even in he's not even in the same postcode as Don Best in my opinion. And Don Best. But I think I feel like for him it's more his luck's run out a little bit. I think India took maybe as well, they just thought he's not very good compared to the spinners we face normally in India, so we can just go after him, and they didn't take him seriously. But now they've realised actually we need to kind of play him on merit, each ball on its merit, and that's why. What do you think, Venu?
I'm not too sure about this. It hasn't really crossed my mind actually. I think he was great when he started off, wasn't he, Fazan? And I think batsmen did figure him out, and maybe Virat Kohli did decide to go after him, and maybe took him out, really knocked his confidence. So I think there's an element of truth in that, Achal. So yeah, good point. Yeah. So the funniest moment of the week. I couldn't think of anything funnier. Although
No, that's the funniest moments, I think.
I would say, I'm not sure this is funny, but the third umpire for the Indian.
Mate, that's fail of the week, isn't it?
Okay, let's move on to fail of the week. Has to be that.
Mate, okay, so first of all, and we talked about this earlier. First of all, like Rohit Sharma was definitely not playing a shot. Moeen Ali should have got that wicket. That was today, yeah. And that's a shocker. What was the other? There was another thing. The third umpire didn't check Snicko. He didn't check Snicko. Yeah, that's a shocker. How can you not check Snicko?
It was Rahane. He went to play a shot and went off his pad of spinner, and he didn't hit the bat on as usual, but on the rebound of the pad, it flicked his glove and went to short leg. And we saw on TV that I just think there was a miscommunication between England were appealing for the catch, not for the LBW, and the third umpire thought the nick was like at the first when the ball passes the bat first, and they looked at that, and there's clearly no inside edge there, and they just didn't roll on the coverage. I just don't know what happened there, and it just was shocking. And the funniest thing was England got back the review, and Rahane, he must have felt really guilty. He must have felt really guilty because the next over he just played such a stupid shot, and he got out. And I was just thinking, if Rahane made a 50 or 100, you'd be thinking the third umpire has really let England down here. And wasn't it on decision? I think that was a shocker in my opinion. And England got a review back, which was it's kind of adds it was kind of insulting in a way to England. Oh yeah, we got it wrong. Here you go. Here's the review back. Oh, thanks.
Well, what they should have done is, but then if they're going to give the review back, then they should give it out, right? That's what I mean. Like, it's just stupidity. Like, that's one of those things that it's inexcusable. And I'm sorry, but there needs to be an investigation into that, because the reason why, it wasn't made into a huge deal is because, as you said, Rahane got out pretty much straight away, and it was good by Moyne, but he kind of swept the wrong length. Like, it was bizarre. And he just didn't pick it. But yeah, I think if he'd gone on to get 200, like, there would have been a whole massive, and there has to be. I'm sorry, because you cannot, like, you've got the technology to do it. They should be checking everything. And they didn't check Snicko. That's just is poor. It's poor stuff. And you can say whether it's biased towards India, whatever it might be. I don't know what it was. All I can say is that needs to be investigated. The third umpire needs to be looked into after this match, and they need to really buck it up, because that can't happen at this level. Like, it's just poor. It's not like they don't have the technology to fall upon. They do, and they're just not utilizing it properly. So I think for me that was shocking. I
agree, and the fact that we saw on TV moments after that, it clearly hit his glove on the way up. Shocker. And also, Rohit Sharma, luckily, there was the stumping. Yes, Cash, thank you. Thanks for reminding me. There was clearly no, his foot wasn't behind the line. And it was very clear. And I think they should have more angles. They should have from this side of the pitch and also from that side of the pitch. I think that's what they should do from now on. And yeah, he should have been given out as well. There was nothing behind there's nothing behind the line. And Ashraf says, all technology in the world couldn't buy humans some common sense. That is true. It's all about this common sense. And I just think they should have just said, made a mistake. They should say, you got to go. I don't know. I don't know what the rules are, but clearly they made a mistake. And I don't know. There should have been something like, can we reverse that decision? Like, surely, what's wrong? Okay, I know Rahane might have played 2 extra balls, but why can't you just say, all right, you're out. We're going to play those 2 balls again.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just a whole mess, isn't it?
It's a mess.
It's just a mess. It's a mess. And Achal's right, because unfortunately, you can have the best technology in the world, but if it's not utilized correctly, then it's useless. And unfortunately, that's what happened here. And with Rohit Sharma's stumping as well, because some people and human beings, they'll just think, well, I've seen this, and then they'll either have a brain fart and they won't even think properly, or they just got no common sense, unfortunately. And then that's why, as I said, it needs to be investigated. And just very quickly, we'll go on to the next category very briefly. He says, yes, but spinners normally are rated by batsmen. Once the fear is gone, it's hard to get it back. It's not like Sean Tate, who gets respect even if he bowls 90% terrible deliveries. He was rapid back in the day, man. I think I know what he means.
Sorry. I think I was reading and listening somewhere that Shane Warne, he can tell when he's about to get a wicket. Because I think because it's Shane Warne, you think it's Shane Warne and I can't play him. Whereas if it was some other player who not as well respected, not as feared as Shane Warne was, you play it fine. You'd be more aggressive, you'd be more confident. But because Shane Warne came with his status, and Murali as well to an extent, batsmen would walk in, and I think Shane Warne used to say, when the batsman walked in, I knew he's not going to last long, because you can tell. And I think that's the same. And once the batsman loses the fear, and that's why Kevin Peterson, he was just, his philosophy was, I'm going to back them out the attack, and I think, and some spinners got destroyed by KP, absolutely destroyed.
Mate, he mullered. Yeah, he did once, and that's what I mean. I think I agree with you, Vinny, because you can be the best bowler in the world, but you always have an off day. But the issue is that on that off day, if the batsmen are so respectful that they're scared, they will have, because people like Murali and Shane Warne, they had that aura around them, as you said, that like, you know what, when they come to bowl, you're just thinking, oh damn, like they could bowl me an absolute peach, and there's nothing I can do about it, or can I pick what he's about to bowl? Because as a spinner, you've got that mystery around you as well. Like, is he going to bowl the googly? Is he going to bowl the slider? Is he going to bowl one that's quicker? Is he going to bowl wider for the stumping? Like, there's all these different variables coming into it as well. So I think that definitely is part of it. But yeah, once that's gone, like, it's difficult as a spinner. I think maybe that's what happened with Mendes, because he was very unique, and then what happened is he got figured out. They picked him. They started picking his variations. So I think that was a shame, because he was so good back in the day. But yeah, what's our next category?
So we did failure of the week. Failure of the week was the third umpire fiasco in the India and England Test match. That was ridiculous. A moment of the week. Moment of the week. Oh, interesting.
But Windies, right?
Yeah, with Windies winning in Bangladesh, historic win.
It's winning the series, isn't it? Yeah,
winning the series. That is moment of the week for me. You can't disagree with that, can you, Fazan?
No, unless I say Mohammed Rizwan's. No, I'm joking. Yeah, I think
that's a moment, isn't it?
Well, Pakistan won the series 2-0, but it's not as.
That's also a moment. First,
it's a big one.
2003. That's a big one.
Yeah, it's the first time we beat them in 18 years, 17,
that's
18
potential.
Years. Yeah. That's potential, but I think the fact that West Indies had a weakened side, they were away from home as well. We were at home, and it was, for us, it was historical because cricket's back in Pakistan, and Test cricket in Pakistan is fantastic to see. South Africa, a good side as well. Good to see them there. It was competitive. We played some good cricket, so fantastic. But yeah, I think for me, 100%. The Windies Bangladesh one, I mean, unbelievable, and all credit to them, because they put on a fantastic display.
Yeah, so well done. Well done, West Indies. Well done. You get the round of applause from me. So that's everything. I think, so that's all the awards. What are we looking forward to, Fizan, next week in the world of cricket?
There's a lot to look forward to.
I'm not really looking forward to the rest of the India Test match. As an England fan, I'm just thinking, it's just a matter of when. When are India going to win this match? So I'm disappointed that way. I was looking forward to this for my half term, having a good Test match to watch. But it's just going to be It's like watching a film and knowing what's going to happen. It's just not the same. And
yeah, I agree. I know what you mean. I think it's going to be a real difficult one. I'm sure we'll come to your question after in 1 second as well. That's a really good question.
Also, what's happening? We've got. I think
so next week there's New Zealand just playing Australia, but that's going to be that's the following Monday, so that's not on. But there's not actually that much cricket on next week.
Not really. No,
it's going to be a pretty. So to be honest with you, I guess I'm looking forward to the PSL, because there's nothing else on, is there?
I'll say that as well. I'm looking forward to
PSL. I don't think there's anything else on. I'm just looking. 1 sec. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, probably the PSL. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
VENU's cricket catch-up's going to be pretty short, I think, next week. There's not going to be that much to get through.
Yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
It'll be good fun. Well, if we have lots of these guys asking questions, then I'm sure it will.
I'm sure there'll be talking points. I'm sure. Who knows? The England-India Test match might turn out interesting. Who knows? A lot of interesting matches have occurred this year already in 2021. So yeah,
100%.
Shall we answer Charles' question?
We've got a couple of questions, and then we can just wrap up. So
no,
Charles, no what?
No to Charles' question.
Oh. Guys, what's your opinion on breaking up West Indies according to national? Yeah, I'd like them to stick how it is. I think if they broke up into national, so Jamaica, Barbados, like St. Lucia, etc., they'd be even weaker. But would we see the top players playing Test cricket if they did that? Probably not. So I don't really see what the only thing I'd say is that apparently the West Indies, when the players get together, they're not they say that sometimes they're not like a cohesive team because they feel like they're from different nations, but they have played together for quite a long time. So I don't know. I'd like them to stick how it is, but I don't know the politics behind it, to be fair, as well. Cash says, shame West Indies Bangladesh series is not on UK TV. Or have we got enough cricket to watch anyway?
Cash, there's
I
no
think
such
it's a shame.
thing as enough cricket.
Yeah, I mean, it was an absolute nightmare to cover. I mean, I loved it, but there's just so much cricket to cover. But as VENU said, like and also like for people here in the UK, there will be Bangladesh and West Indies fans, and also if for example, like the India-England game at the moment is potentially dragging, like if for example that's over quickly, maybe they'll tune into this, and then they would have been able to watch it and enjoy it. So, like I think it would have been great to have it here. I wonder who would have put it on. Maybe BT because Sky and have got the Pakistan one, and
they should have
Channel
shown
4 have England. Yeah, but I just didn't get picked up, which is a shame. Archel says Jamaica, Barbados, St Kitts would make a decent team. Less politics and maybe more fanfare.
My issue is it won't happen because now England have to play now Jamaica separately and Barbados separately and St Kitts separately. It would just be a nightmare, and I don't think it'll be good for West Indies cricket.
Yeah, I think the issue with that as well is that we're trying to get like cricket to grow globally and to get associate nations playing and like getting higher, so they're not associated nations anymore. So this would just make it even more difficult to make scheduling. I think I agree, VENU.
Yeah,
and I just think it would weaken their team even more. They just had a good win, so I'm hoping that this propels them as a team, and hopefully it kind of helps their team morale and culture as well. And then to finish off, Cash goes IPL draft.
Oh yes.
What about IPL draft? Is that happening? When's that happening? In April?
I think it's happening this week potentially. Okay. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. That should be good. So I think that's everything really. Any more questions, Rizan, before we finish?
Last one says here, is international cricket free to air in the UK? I heard Sky was going to do something about it. So no, it depends what it's on. So Chalfa, if you don't know, so me and VENU obviously are both in the UK, and Sky Sports is not free. You have to pay for your Sky subscription, and Sky Sports I think is actually extra on top of Sky, like your usual Sky package. Channel 4, which is showing India versus England, is on Freeview, so that is free to air. But normally, the last time an England series was free to air in the UK was in 2005.
Just like school.
Yeah, which was the England versus Australia Ashes, which is that really famous victory. But since then, until this series, it hasn't been free to air. It's been on Sky, and we've had to pay for it. Good coverage, but yeah.
Whole generation of young kids didn't see a single Alistair Cook innings on Freeview. That is a tragedy. And ironically, you see him as a pundit in the first Test match. Kids are thinking, "Who's this dad? Oh, he's England's leading run scorer."
No, they would have seen some matches, Vinny. Come on.
No, that's absolute tragedy.
I know what you mean, though. I know what you mean. The World Cup final was free to air, but that's because England were in it. But I think it'll be interesting to see. I'm assuming the T20 World Cup will be on Sky or BT probably. But yeah, I think unfortunately it's not free to air. I wish it was. It should be really. They do highlights and stuff, but yeah, I mean, luckily I've got Sky, so I'm lucky.
Luckily you give me your account, so thanks, mate.
Yeah, exactly. 100%.
Otherwise, I'll really struggle to this video, so thanks.
Oh, actually, while we're here, Pakistan won by 4 wickets with 8 balls remaining. It was a tight one, and let's have a look. Pakistan win the series 2-1. So that's it. So we won the Test series 2-0, won this one 2-1. And the reason why is because Hassan Ali hit 20 off 7 balls, 1 for 2-6, a strike rate of 285. He was not out. And Mohammad Nawaz hit 18 off 11, 2 fours, 1 6, a strike rate of 160. And Babar Azam hit 44 off 30, and Mohammad Rizwan 42 off 30. So yeah, we got it with 8 balls remaining. And yeah, won by 4 wickets. So I'm a happy bunny. Well done to Pakistan, and well done to South Africa as well for competitive series, I think.
Yes,
for sure.
And that's what you want.
100%. Why would ECB, VENU could go on about this for ages. Why would ECB want to split right to these players?
However, I must say, I know Sky do a really good job, but also the money they brought into the game. Sky's like paying a lot of money to show it, and I'm sure the money's trickling down to grassroots, into schools, getting young people to play cricket. But I just feel it'll be a lot better if it's on Channel 4 and on Freeview. But I'm sure we can have a best of both worlds, hopefully going forward. But that's probably why it's this money, really, and that's what the ECB, they kind of sold their soul, really. They kind of missed the trick.
What they should do is some have it, is that, like Sky, you should be able to, like BBC or whoever, like a Freeview channel should be able to show the highlights using Sky's footage. Like they should have an agreement with them in the evenings. So then even if, for example, Sky are showing a series, like they'll be able to use the Sky footage. Does that make sense?
I agree.
In like highlight format, so like an hour of like the day, or if it's an ODI, then it'll be an hour. T20, like half an hour, whatever, and like they could do it that way. But for every single England match, that would be good. And then obviously BBC would have to pay a little bit, but as long as it's not an extortionate amount, like BBC or ITV or Channel 4, wherever it is, that would be better. But I agree with you, Vandy. Like they brought a lot of money into the game, Sky. So, and that's probably why players are probably getting paid a decent amount now since that 2005 Ashes as well. But I agree. I also agree that it should be good. It would be good to have it on free to air. And like the issue with cricket is that it is a little bit of a middle class sport. It's not really like football where you have a lot of people who are not from poor backgrounds in the UK anyway. Obviously, in a country like Pakistan, it's different, but here, unfortunately, it is. Let's just finish up then. I trust the Spanish football, my case in point. Freeview attracted global audience and created the volumes, and they focus on endorsement. Yeah, it's with any sport, right?
Yeah.
As soon as it starts attracting big audiences and big viewership, like here, for example, when this channel in like a week's time gets huge, I'm gonna make you guys pay. No, I'm joking. I'm just, but as like as an example, like the Spanish football is a really good one for La Liga, and also cricket is another one. But fingers crossed. Like I think this is a step in the right direction. As VENU didn't actually mention it being on Channel 4 until Achal mentioned it. So well done, VENU, because normally you didn't even say it earlier. So
to be honest, I thought I made my point clearly last time. I just didn't want to make it because I made such a valid argument that I just didn't have to do it again.
Exactly. VENU, do you want to wrap up?
Yeah, that's everything really. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Thanks for watching, and thanks Fazan for coming on. And also remember to like and comment and share the videos and subscribe to Fazan's channel. And I'm looking forward to a week of cricket, and I'll see you next week. So bye for now. Bye everyone.
Yeah, thank you, and thank you, VENU, as well, for putting on a fantastic show. And this can be our show. This is your show. This is your segment, and cricket can be our thing. I did Achal. I'm a big football fan, and thank you, Achal. Thank you, everyone, for joining in. And as VENU said, like, comment, share the vids, and subscribe. Thank you very much, guys. Have a fantastic day.
Bye, everyone. Adios.
Adios.